Jared was a limited participant in the walkthrough today. Can you just maybe give us an update on how he's feeling today and maybe what you're thinking toward Thursday if he's got a chance to potentially play?
Yeah, he felt better today. So we're going to see where he can go. We gave him a couple of walkthrough reps, and Tim's still preparing, so we'll see where we're at.
Thanks, Dan.
You bet.
Justin.
Dan, I don't know how much you look back during the season, but I'm wondering as you prepare for the Bears this week, how much you reflect maybe on the lost opportunity the last time you played them with the 4 red zone trips, and how much of that can be a lesson or a motivational tool as you head into this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, we did some things. We did some things good last time we played them, and the turnovers killed us, and so I think some of that is us just trying to be smart when we get down there, and give ourselves a chance to possess the ball, and then see if we can get it in there. But we ran it pretty good till we got behind, and then we weren't able to run it anymore. But no, and look, we scored with Leaf down there, but certainly those turnovers killed us.
And I know, you've mentioned this before. Missed tackles have kind of been something that's been a problem all year. That game in particular, I think you probably missed more than any you did all season. How have you been, I guess, working and addressing to correct some of the tackling issues that have been plaguing the team?
Yeah, well, I think what we've really been preaching is finish. The finish and population of the ball, and look, you play a couple of running backs back to back that are pretty good, like the 2 we just faced, and it's easier said than done. But it's ultimately, you would love to always believe that the first guy is going to get him down, but more importantly, man, wrap him up, and if you can't, at least you're holding him long enough for your teammate to show up. So I think a lot of it is just pursuit and finish is as big as anything, which we've been doing a good job of in practice, and in the games it's been showing up.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Corey.
And how you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. So one thing that has been constant with this team is they fight week to week for you, despite the record, and that's one thing that you've highlighted every Monday. But besides that, what are some of the positives that you can take away that you've seen up to this point that maybe everybody else is not aware of?
Well, defensively, we're getting turnovers, which I think is pretty big, man. To give yourself a chance and to play good defense, you need to get turnovers, which we are. And, I think there again, I think we've got the most amount of rookie play time of anybody in the league, or maybe the second. I don't know what that is, but we're getting invaluable growth and experience out of our young guys. And, that hasn't shown up in the win column, but I do feel like these guys are growing. And the more investment we're getting now, it'll pay off. And there again, I'm hoping it'll pay off big before, next season. We're hoping this thing, comes at any time. But they keep putting out the effort. They keep working. It's a good core group, and I bring it up one more time. It's hard for us to overcome 1 or 2 mistakes.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Dave.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. One quick follow-up on Goff, just because this is, a different week, right? At walkthroughs, I don't know how much practice stuff you'll actually do. How will you handle him this week in terms of, like, how can he test out the injury, I guess, test out the side?
Yeah, he threw this morning. I wanted to see him throw, so he threw this morning, early. Went out there and looked pretty good, and we'll do it again tomorrow, and then do it again Wednesday. What is the day?
Yeah, right.
All right, Monday, for those 3 days, just to see where he's at. We kind of tested it, him on the move, right, left, in the pocket, out throwing the deep ball, things of that nature. And so he looked good enough to get him some reps today. But we're prepared. Tim will be ready to go if needed.
And when you're talking throwing, you're talking like simulating game stuff, not just sort of playing catch, right? We're talking he's actually letting it rip. Yeah.
You give me some credit, Dave.
Yeah,
Yeah, we weren't just playing catch like out in the backyard since it's Thanksgiving week. Yeah, no, we tested him. Now it wasn't like we didn't go 40 plays or 50 throws, but yet it was enough to see, how it felt. Did he have some whip on the ball? What was his comfort level? And it was enough to give him some reps today for sure. So.
All right, perfect. No, I just wanted to make sure on that. And then the other thing I had was you obviously played for the Lions and the Cowboys, so Thanksgiving, pretty special tradition for both those franchises. Can you share your favorite memory as a player from these games, or maybe as a coach if it came from one of your other stops?
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't know if I could just name one particular game. I just know it was always special to play on it because of the fact, like when you're growing up and you're watching that game nationally televised, and hell, I remember, you always watch the Cowboys. I grew up in Texas, everybody did, but then you watch the Lions. I mean, that's the first team you're watching, and so, man, that's how you got to see some of the greats, man. One of them who works with us right now, Spillman and those guys. So just, I know growing up as a young kid, a young boy, and you see that and you dream one day of being able to play on that stage and then to be able to do it, man, it's pretty cool. It's pretty special.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Chris.
Hey, Dan.
Hey,
What's your go-to Thanksgiving plate look like?
turkey guy, no dressing, no cranberry. Particularly smoked, mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, off the cob, cut right off the cob, green bean casserole, and homemade rolls. That's me.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt. It sounded like you had a pretty good vision there. So you mentioned the young guys playing. We obviously know how highly you think of AG. He's had a ton of those young guys in the lineup. I guess if it's not too simple of a question or too broad of a question, just how is he doing this? How has he gotten to a point with this defense that you trust him so much in these late game spots and these clutch moments to put it on all these young and inexperienced guys as much as you have?
Yeah, look, I think AG's a hell of a teacher. I think he's a hell of a coach, a hell of a teacher. I think he's a hell of a motivator. And, I've been fortunate to be around him as a player, a teammate, but also as a coach for 5 years in New Orleans. And so we both learned from the same guy and just, you get to know him pretty well and what he's able to do. And when you see him develop the talent that he has where we came from, you know what he can do. And so I got a ton of faith in him and that staff and how he leads that staff. So I think it's a good mix. I think it's a good mesh. And I think he delivers really good direction and leadership. And so I just think, man, I bring it up one more time. We're really teachers is what we are. Yeah, we're coaches, but you got to be able to teach. And I think he's one of the best. And so that's how he's getting it out of him.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
All right, 3 more. Go to Tim.
Dan, you mentioned the turnovers. I think you've had 5 in the last 2 weeks. Really been kind of key to you guys playing really good defense. Is that just a case of, hey, sometimes they come in bunches, or is it the young guys that you talked about maybe feeling comfortable in the scheme, or just guys feeling comfortable? Can you put your finger? Can you attribute the turnovers and the increase of the last 2 weeks to anything in particular, or is it just kind of just one of those things?
Well, look, I think you're always talking about them. You're always preaching them. You're always working. Like we work turnover drills. We've been doing them all year, but sometimes it just takes, you got to get a little momentum and, and all of a sudden you get one and guys start feeling it and smelling it. And next thing you know, one guy sees his teammate doing it. He starts doing it and the next one starts doing it. And it becomes contagious. And unfortunately, it's no different than offensively. If you start fumbling the ball, pretty soon that becomes contagious the wrong way. But I just think it's, we're kind of beginning to catch fire here. And, Amani came up with another interception, and I keep telling you, he needs to buy me a lotto ticket or I'm going to give him just give him money and he can pick the numbers because he's a guy, he's coming up with them. So I do look, every team I've been on, player or coach, man, all of a sudden when you start getting a couple and they start smelling it, it starts happening, and they start feeding off of it, and they really believe they can cause one, and you get balls out. That's kind of what's happened here, and it's given us a chance, is what it's doing.
All right, Eric.
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, E?
Coach, I want to go back to the Thanksgiving Day tradition one more time. Obviously, this has been a game that's been going on in Lions history since 1934. You go back to all the legendary coaches within the Lions franchise, from Wayne Fonts and all these guys who put a lot of emphasis on getting this Thanksgiving Day game. For you, like, how do you have the players? I know it's only your first year, but you played in Detroit as well, but how do you get the players to understand the tradition as well? And, like, how big would that be for you guys to actually get the first win on Thanksgiving as well, knowing the history, knowing the tradition, of this game as well?
Yeah, look, I think that even though we're in the world of the social media, I do believe, so you got access to everything right now. I do believe our guys still look at it as this is something, it's a special thing, and that, man, everybody's watching this game and everybody's got their families at home and they're all circled around the TV. They just ate or they're going to eat afterwards. So I think it still rings true, that it is special. And yeah, to your point, to be able to get a win on that day, look, to get a win, period, it's going to be freaking outstanding. But yes, to get it Thanksgiving would make it that much more special.
All right, last one, John.
Hey, Dan, good afternoon. I do have a couple quick ones. Just post-bye, I'm just curious, wondering, how have you felt about your play calling? Maybe one thing that you're happy with and one thing that you're maybe not happy with your play calling.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that it's no different than anything else. You always look at yourself and figure out where you can improve. I mean, certainly there's a couple of calls I wish I could have back. I think that, look, I think that certainly finding some runs has been pretty good. I feel like just mixing it up and letting those guys go up front has been pretty good and has helped us. We kind of found a running game here, but I think that maybe there's a couple of calls there where it's tough to say, because you could say, well, maybe we ought to pass it here, but I also wanted to be mindful of the first week you got a guy who's you don't feel like can push the ball down the field. You want to be smart, and the conditions aren't good. And then we come back with another game where the conditions aren't great, and Bull hasn't, it's his first start. So just, you go back and forth on that. Do you try to take care of him? Do you try to get it with Swift on the ground, or do you, put it in his hands? And so, you play that game a little bit, but certainly there's things that I wish I could have back, but I'm growing at it as well,
Absolutely. And then my second question is about your wide receivers. We understand the need to be more explosive and understanding the inclement weather that you played in, but just I'm wondering, how do you get the wide receivers to a level where they can be a little bit more productive than they have been post-bye?
Well, look, I think what's going to help us is getting a first down. We can get a first down and sustain a drive, then we get a couple more plays to try to put it in the hands of our receivers, whether that's a run or a short pass. So I think to be able to really help those guys out, I think we've got to convert on third down. We're way too low right now. I mean, even if you can convert one or two more times in a game, you allow yourselves a minimum of 6 plays. I mean, and then you don't know where that's going to go. So I think everything starts there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Got it right.
All right, guys, drop your name in the chat and we'll get going.
Wow, no, I got it, Jim. I got
Justin.
Jason, a little bit more involved in the game plan this week. A couple carries. I think you were targeted in the screen game as well. Is that something you feel like they've been building toward in practice? Maybe something we'll maybe continue to see down the stretch here.
I mean, I'm just doing my best to try to continue to improve. And do whatever the coaches ask me to do. But they're starting to see my skill set, starting to see what I can offer. So I'm just trying to get me involved.
No, Dan's been talking about your ability to carry the ball since training camp. Obviously, we haven't got a chance to see it a ton, but to break through and have that type of carry, I mean, it's been a while. I mean, what was that like?
No, definitely huge for me. Had that carry, be able to break free there, get some good yardage. But it's really just a confidence booster for me. Taking what I've been doing in practice, taking what I've been doing since training camp, and it translating into the game. So definitely a confidence booster for me.
Thanks, Jason.
Dave.
Hey, Jason, good to see you. What's it like blocking for DeAndre Swift?
That's my dog, man. That's my dog. Love getting that guy free and loose. I mean, we know that the type of skill set he has, what he does to defenders in open space. So anytime I can make holes for him, man, I just know it's going to be a big play. So, I mean, he's done a fantastic job. Dude is, tough as nails, shifty in open space. I mean, there's not a whole lot more we can ask out of that guy in terms of what he's doing for us in this team.
Do you ever catch yourself watching him, not when you're out in front of him maybe, but he breaks loose somewhere in front of you? Do you have to remind yourself, hey, I got to hustle up after him because he's out there making some moves and whatnot?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Every single time if he gets past me, I got to finish the play because he's going to make the next guy miss, and who knows, maybe I can pick up the touchdown block. So, you always got to play through the whistle when Swift's on the field getting loose.
Last thing I got for you is, Thanksgiving game. Obviously, this week you've been a part of this organization for a couple of years now. What does this game mean, and do you have what's your favorite football memory on Thanksgiving?
It's a super cool tradition. Be able to play on Thanksgiving. I mean, what more could you ask for? I mean, national TV, playing 1 o'clock. Everybody's watching. Everybody's at home, eating their Thanksgiving meals. I mean, so it's really just a huge opportunity, to show out for your family, your people back home and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, it's pretty cool. In terms of memories, I don't know. I feel like I've been playing on things around Thanksgiving time for a while now. And, back to college, you don't really get Thanksgiving off, really. This is probably been since high school that I've had, Thanksgiving off. But I've always remembered watching football on Thanksgiving and seeing Detroit play and stuff. So I think it's a really cool deal.
So since you don't get Thanksgiving off, do you celebrate Friday after the game? How do you go about celebrating Thanksgiving with family?
It'll probably be after the game. Mom's flying in this week, so I'll be with mom. Mom's probably gonna. My mom might check in a bag full of food. In case y'all don't know my mom, and she's gonna cook and probably bring it with her to make sure I experience Thanksgiving. So thankful for her, but she'll be around.
We'll do it all good. Tell her to save me some biscuits or something. So, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, Jason. All right, guys, got Tracy Walker here. Drop your name in chat. Tim?
Hey, Trace, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Good. Hey, 5 turnovers in the last 2 games. Those can be kind of contagious at times. Your head coach said. Just is there something that you can put your finger on as to why you guys are kind of on this stretch? Is it just maybe guys feeling a lot comfortable in this defense, being more aggressive? Or do they just come in bunches sometimes, or what do you maybe attribute to you guys getting 5 turnovers here the last 2 weeks that have kind of really helped you stay in games and give you a chance to win?
Well, there's a couple things. Obviously, we're executing a little bit better. That definitely plays a huge role in it. And like you said, they come in bunches, man. Turnovers come in bunches, and when you start causing that ball to come our way, man, like you said, it just happened. Now we got 5, And so the main thing is us we just trying to continue to build, continue to try to produce what we can, and like I said, stay dialed in.
And how important is it this week continuing that trend and continuing to play good defense and giving you guys a chance to win, especially looking for your first victory?
Well, actually, with us causing turnovers, that's giving us the best opportunity to fight in the game. So that's one thing we realized, that we got to continue to produce and continue to be well aware that we're going out there just causing turnovers and making plays. And so that's honestly what the defense is sticking to, and that's what we're trying to continue to build on.
Thanks, Trace. Good luck Thursday.
Thank you so much.
Justin?
Hey, Tracy, I wanted to dip outside of football for a second, just because we, really followed up with you through the Ahmaud Arbery arrest and charges last year. That trial's in closing arguments right now, and I'm curious how closely you've been following and maybe processing that process.
I've been following with it quite well, actually, and yeah, that process, about that process. I mean, like I said, I only can do so much, and I got to sit back and I got to let the the DA and everybody else handle that. So my part I feel like has been done, and I still do my part by continue to speak on the mod and continue to hold it down for cuz. But yeah, that's a tough situation.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you hit on it there, right? It's an emotional thing. It was an emotional thing for you then. I assume it continues to be an emotional thing. How have you, maybe worked through just some of the emotions and how do you balance that with trying to stay focused on the job?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I was always taught this. Even when you're feeling down, nobody really cares. So at the end of the day, if I'm having a bad day, I still got to do my job and come here and be the best person I could possibly be. I got to be the best teammate, best leader. So with that being said, man, that's just I've built a understanding, man, and shit. My toughness, man, is out the roof. Like I said, last year maybe around this time would have been a little bit different, but now that I got a little bit of experience, a little time to absorb it and get a better understanding of it, is just at the end of the day I got to control what I control. That's what it boiled down to at bottom. So all I got to do is control what I control.
And do you have any sense or expectations for how this thing's gonna go across the finish line?
I pray these people get locked up and they don't. Like I said, I'm gonna call it what it is. They don't see the time of day again. They don't get to see no daylight. They deserve that, man. So that's what I feels. Now anything can happen. What I mean, things always happen. Things always go against what it should be or what I might feel. My opinion, yeah, everybody's opinionated, and some people might feel otherwise. So I'm not on that jury, so I can't give my answer on what should happen. But that's what I believe. I believe they deserve to, rot in prison.
Thank you, Tracy.
All right, Chris, last one.
Just to echo Justin, there's thanks for being so open with us when you talk about this. I know we all really appreciate it. And sorry to ask you a football question as a follow-up here, but I asked Coach Campbell just sort of how Aaron Glenn has been so effective over the season. Dan's talked about just how much he trusts you guys on defense and in sort of the key moments of these games. And just what have you seen from Coach Glenn that, why has he been able to get so much out of that group on the defensive side?
Well, I mean, we have a hellified defensive staff. I mean, you know, for me, I love playing under these coaches. I love going out. I love coming to work every day. So, I mean, I love the game plan. Like I said, man, me personally, my personal opinion is I love just everything about it. I love the energy he brings. I love the way he puts me in position to make plays. I'm speaking on personal experience, by the way, my personal. But like I love that he allows his players to make plays and he puts them in position to make plays. So, you know, and I feel like, man, we got a coach that we're gonna go out there and play for. We're gonna give it all regardless on offense, defense. It don't matter. Shit. That's just bottom line. We have a great coaching staff and our record doesn't show it, obviously. People see 0-9 and they're just like, oh man, or 0-8, I'm sorry. And they're just like, oh my gosh, the Lions suck. But nah, we in every game. We're fighting and we're competing. And that's just the bottom line. We want to go out there and compete and give it all every game.
I think we've seen you all, you know, grow into a leadership role in this defense over your career here. You know, the coaches have talked a lot about finding guys who can sort of fit the vision long term. I don't know if you've had any opportunity to think about contract stuff, but do you see yourself or think about yourself as a long-term foundational piece here?
I wouldn't mind. I definitely see myself, but like I said, I got to control what I control. Anything can happen, you know. I go out here, I give them all to these guys, the coaching staff, the whole nine. And like I said, God willing, I'm going to be here. If not, so be it. I go take my talents elsewhere, you know, but I hope I'm here. You know, at the end of the day, I got to control what I control. And that's just what I live by. I take every day, day by day. And yeah, that's just bottom line.
All right, thank you, Tracy. That's all we had time for today, guys.